Hello and welcome to the oddest little podcast on the internet. What's going on? We are the Odd Pod. The name's Stacy Kruger. Who the hell are you weird people?
I am casually challenged, and we're not going to talk about Infinity War today.
I am the artist formerly known as Rad. You can call me Stacy's Beard.
Can I come over and brush you today? Would you mind if I massage oil into you?
Stop. I can only be so erect.
I'm just Ryan. I don't got nothing funny.
You know, we sit here and banter back and forth during the pre-show. You go off with quip after quip after quip. Put my balls down. Take my balls out of your mouth.
I'm Ryan.
What the shit? He has cheese balls, ladies and gentlemen. It's not my testicles, I promise. So we have no British guy today. I feel like we're lopsided as far as the global concerns go.
No, I say we're more like America.
Fuck yeah! But yes, Robbie is taking the day off. He's got to go do British things. I don't know. Drinking tea and eating crumpets. I don't fucking know. He's doing something today, so we have no Robbie. But
This just in, Britain is out of tea.
No? Okay. All right. So, Casual, with our absolutely zero Infinity War talk, what the hell are we going to talk about today? Because it seems like everybody is talking about fucking Infinity War, and I'm already burnt out on Infinity War.
Everybody is still talking about Infinity War. That's basically all the news is about how much money it's made. And it has made a lot. And leading up to it, it was just about how much money is it gonna make? What's it gonna do? Blah, blah, blah. But I think something fitting to talk about, especially since it's all based on opinions. And we, in our little podcast, have had this before. We have differing opinions.
No, not at all. Casual, what could you possibly be referring to?
Sometimes opinions can change.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that's a strange thing to like for instance, I used to think that certain movies were the best movies ever. I'm not talking about like modern movies. I don't know that I think any movie is the best movie anymore. I think there's lots of great ones. There's even more bad ones. In fact, on a grand scale, there's probably more bad movies out there than there are good movies. I think that the ratio, because there's a lot of movies that don't even make it into theaters. And there's like 10 new movies a day on some form of direct-to-video, type thing. But one of the things that I would say the social media verse has created is this thing where, one, and I think we've talked about it a little bit, but people seem to have very divisive opinions. Like, you either have to love something or you have to hate it. There's no in between.
Yeah, like we brought up before, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, either you love it or you hate it. Yeah, you can't like Pepsi if you like Coke nonsense.
And I would say that that's silly. For example, I don't like either anymore, and this goes into the idea that, guess what, people? Opinions can change over time. You see, we do this thing called growing, and I'm not just talking about growing up and bigger.
Unfortunately, I don't know much about that. Oh, you mean,
I get it. That's a dick joke.
Well, Robbie's not here. I have to compensate.
Well,
You always compensate.
It's going to be long.
Anyway. So, the thing is, I feel like in the modern society of social networking and the Twitterverse, and I definitely think Twitter has had a huge effect on all of this, because in order to say anything on Twitter, you have to say it in what used to be, 140 characters?
Yeah.
Now it's
yes,
200 something.
It's 280 now.
But it was based on some sort of coding that they could only have 140, whatever. And because of that, people would put their opinions into very short statements. And realistically, you can kind of only fit I loved it or I hated it and a couple of reasons why. So that dynamic has kind of changed how people talk about things. But let me ask you guys, what is something that you can think of that you used to like or dislike or even hate or love, but you changed your mind? Like something, for some reason. Maybe it was this or that. It doesn't matter why, but you just, over time, you said, I don't like Coke anymore. I also don't like Pepsi at all, but, I don't like this thing I used to.
Grand Theft Auto 5 for me. Also Skyrim. Two of those things, it was just, I wasn't ready for it at that point in time. It sounds silly, but sometimes you're just not ready for something, so you play it or you watch it if it's a movie, or you read it if it's a book. You're like, that's the worst thing ever. Come back a couple of years later and go, wow, this actually wasn't bad at all. What the hell was wrong with me? You just weren't ready for that story. You weren't ready for that style of gameplay. You weren't ready for that taste of drink or food.
I would also add on for you, Stacy, Man of Steel.
Oh, yeah, fucking soups. Yeah, soup, yeah. I used to hate soups, and I still hate soups in the comic books because he's a Boy Scout. But the new soups, I like him, man. I actually enjoy him because he's not just a goody two-shoes. I can dig on that.
And that's the thing. Like, for me, I kind of agree. Like, I always thought of Superman as... he's literally called the Boy Scout by Batman. Mm-hmm. Like in movies and comics and TV shows where they interact together. Batman, I don't know what Superman calls Batman. I'm sure he has a pet name.
Dickhead, probably.
But the Boy Scout was always the kind of derogatory term that Superman had, or Batman had for Superman, which I always found hilarious from a background perspective, because ironically, that might be the wrong word, but Batman is the guy that never kills anyone, and Superman is the guy that has killed people in his history, and Batman refers to him as the Boy Scout.
I know, right? I always kind of thought about that when there's a huge difference though. Batman will not kill, but he will never stray from his morals of people need to be brought to justice, but it's not worth killing. But he will whoop some serious ass to bring them in. He'll do what it takes to stop them.
He will also break the law in order to do it, because
exactly.
That's literally what he's doing every time he goes out and does his vigilante stuff.
Exactly. Where Soups...
I would encourage you to rewatch the 1989 Batman again. Batman
just did that the other day, dude.
On that one.
Yeah, I remember watching that, and I was sitting back with my daughter watching it. We're sitting there having a great time watching. I was like, fucking shit, is there a lot of dead people in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The two that I remember, he throws a guy was like a bomb strapped to him. He throws him... He activates the bomb and then tosses him in the sewer.
I forgot about that scene. Yeah.
Wait, was that the first one, or was that the Penguin?
First one, yeah.
Because I know he also kills people in the second one.
And also in the final scene, he throws a guy down the interior of a bell tower of a very tall church.
Yeah, that guy is totally not alive.
Batman, right? All right.
Yeah.
Keaton.
Yeah. The thing is, it's one of those things where every death except for the Joker is off screen, so people kind of justify it as, well, he just knocked him unconscious, and nah, those guys are totally dead.
You don't fall down a 20-story bell tower with no soft landing at the bottom and survive. Nobody walks away from that.
You kidding? That rotten wood and concrete isn't soft enough for you?
What?
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, he dropped the bell on him.
Yes, he did.
Dude, it's been...
Batman was quite the killer.
The Joker sprayed it with acid and missed Batman, and the bell fell. So, yeah, even if he wasn't dead at the bottom, let's assume for half a second that he made it all the way to the bottom after blasting through all the things that he hit on the way down, and he was laying on the ground, broken but alive. That
Here
bell
comes the fucking realization of death straight to the face.
So by extension, that means Batman rang his bell.
And but allow me to be a justifier in this situation. Batman didn't technically kill him. The Joker did, because it was his acid on the bell.
See?
But you're
Fuck
assuming
you.
that he's still alive after that fall, which is not.
Yeah,
But
God damn it.
that being said, we're doing our usual thing and getting off topic. So there have been plenty of things that I have changed my opinion on. One of them was the difference between what is bad and good, in my opinion. For example, I was with everybody that said Thor: The Dark World was the worst movie in the MCU. And I still technically agree with that assessment. It is still the worst movie in the MCU, but it's not a bad movie. In rewatching it when, leading up to Infinity War, because I do that, I rewatch all the movies before the next one comes out. There's a lot of really good moments in that movie. Like, the overall movie could have been better somehow. And Malekith, which nobody remembers except me because I've watched it like 5 times, was the most forgettable villain in the MCU. But Thor and Loki's interactions in that movie are so good. Like, their brother dynamic is just perfect. At least in my opinion.
I remember about that for all the reviews of that movie said, yeah, it's got a good buddy adventure wrapped up in a turd.
Yeah, that's kind of appropriate.
Buddy adventure wrapped
because-
up in a turd. I love that.
Well, because the villain may as well be a piece of paper stapled to the wall, and Jane Foster, played by Natalie Portman, was very phoned in.
I am so glad Natalie Portman decided she didn't want to be a part of the universe anymore. I am positive
That was
that
Thor's
had
girlfriend,
she-
correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
now I know who you're talking about.
Had she stayed around, they could have written more parts for her. They did it for Gwyneth Paltrow. They wrote more parts for her to do, and she came back, and she continues to, be in the movies. But these people that go, well, all I am is this girlfriend, and I don't want to do that anymore, so I'm just going to leave perpetually. All right, then GTFO. We don't need you. Like
Ouch.
literally the girlfriend role, and I agree with them on the side that all they are is the girlfriend or whatever, but the girlfriend love interest is important to the comics. I'm not as certain, like, Stacy's opinion is that he gets bored when they start doing all the love interest stuff.
Yeah.
I like it, but I do actually agree with Stacy that in a 2-hour movie, 2.5, depending on what it is, having that stuff does kind of take away from what other stuff you can do in the story. Take, for example, Thor: The Dark World, or not Dark World, Thor Ragnarok. It had no love interest story at all, and I think it was better for it.
Wait, could you repeat the start of that little section again, please?
Yes, I agreed with Stacy.
One
It
more time,
happened.
please.
Sorry, what?
Only because I'm about ready to crank up the rumor mill and say Casual agrees with Stacy on everything.
God
Ladies and
damn
gentlemen,
it.
that's how you do clickbait.
Casual agreed with Stacy on this one thing, and you wouldn't believe what it is. Click here to find out. Oh, should that be the title of the fucking podcast? Oh, yeah, baby.
I think the title should be, since we're talking about opinions, let's go back to a certain movie about bugs in space. Would you like to know more?
Am I the only person who would love that movie?
No, I love that movie.
Starship Troopers is my favorite turd.
Really? I thought it was absolutely awesome. I loved it. Oh, God.
Starship Troopers is... Okay, so Starship Troopers is an awesome, fun, great movie. But it is not a good movie. It is one of those movies that, it's flawed. Like, for instance, when I was a kid, I loved The Neverending Story.
Oh, God.
I thought that was
movie.
I thought that was the greatest movie ever. But or another really great one. Was flying around in space after playing a video game?
The Last Starfighter.
The Last Starfighter. Love that movie still, but again, opinions can change.
Mm-hmm.
Having watched it as a grown-up, having seen it from a perspective of seeing a lot of movies and having more, quote, insider knowledge, understanding movies better because I love movies so much, I can see how flawed these movies are. But that doesn't change... It changed my opinion of them being great movies, but it doesn't change my opinion that I love them still.
I can understand that. I mean, when we get back to paper thin villains, because you said that you truly thought that Dark World, the second one was called, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, Dark World. That was the worst one because the villain. One of the many reasons was the villain was paper thin.
He was literally
just
terrible.
shit. Okay, to me, that would have to be, what was the villain's name from Guardian of the Galaxy, the first one?
Ronan. He was the second most paper thin villain that they've had.
Okay, so I'm not the only one. Because I remember watching that and I got done going, what was that guy's name again? And I just watched it.
Yeah. He was thin as well, but for me, I loved him.
Really?
I thought he was really cool.
Like, what made you fall in love with him?
To me, Ronan is just... Okay, this is highly subjective.
Now, I will... Before I'll go ahead and continue, Rad, but I will say that one of the things that both of those characters had in common is they were both 100% zealots.
Yes. Malekith,
like, that was their entire character. I am a zealot.
Yeah. Malekith didn't do jack shit. Ronan actually did stuff. And also, Ronan looked way cooler. And he had that sweet purpleness going on with the gem.
What the hell was that gem anyway? See, I've always wondered.
That was the power gem. Basically, the power gem is all about destruction in the MCU, apparently. I think the idea behind the power gem is that... Well, okay, I don't know, because in the MCU, the 6 gems all do something. They haven't really explained what the soul gem does in the movies yet, other than it's the soul gem. It deals with life somehow.
That's actually what me and as I smack Ryan in the face, hey you! Psh, me and Clorox, and I think you were there too, we were discussing, what the hell does a soul gem actually do? Is it just like, it looks into our soul? It's like the Earth ring from, not Earth, the heart ring from Captain Planet. Just, heart! What are you doing? I'm fucking holding a ring up. That's what I'm doing. I'm feeling for animals. I don't know. It's this same type of thing.
Go ahead, Brad.
Go ahead, buddy.
quick side note about Captain Planet. The kid who got heart, he got screwed hardcore.
Right, dude?
Well,
Everyone else like, oh, I could shoot fire from my ring. I could do something with water.
It depends
have
on your
heart.
perspective. Theoretically, the heart ring could control people. He could theoretically be the most powerful of them. He just never used it that way because he's a little doucher.
A little douchey bastard.
Okay, so for me, the time gem, the space gem, the reality gem, those all make sense, as pieces of the universe. The mind gem and the soul gem not only are similar in color, because one's orange and one's yellow, and the orange one is more yellow than it is orange, but, I feel like they're kind of the same, we don't know what the mind gem even does, but I don't know. It's
Well, I think the main thing behind what people are calling the snapshot
The what?
is
The snap. Oh, snap. Sure. I heard
yes,
snatcher.
we're
as in
we're talking about
snatch.
that thing that we said we wouldn't talk about.
Well, I could have swore I heard snatch. Cunt. And I was like, what
Well, I
movie
mean,
did
of
I
course
miss
you
out
would
on? This
hear
sounds
that.
awesome.
Of course, you would hear that.
I'm sorry.
I think that most of the power behind it is the soul gem.
possible. I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is in the comics, they have time to develop these things. In the movies, they have 2 hours to develop characters and the things, and it's fine that they don't fully develop all this stuff. But yeah, getting back to the idea of Ronan and Malekith being the least popular villains so far is the fact that all they were was just a one-note character. One wanted to kill everyone that wasn't whatever Ronan was, Kree, I think, and the other wanted to kill everyone that wasn't a dark elf, and that's boring.
Yeah.
You know, when we get to Thanos, and I know we said we wouldn't talk about Infinity War, but who cares?
Thanos,
when we
what's
get
that?
to Thanos, he doesn't just want to kill half the universe. He has this whole reason behind it. And that's what gives him more interest as a character, you know, whereas Ronan and Malekith were just well, I'm just a space Nazi.
Well, okay. Malekith and Ronan are boring villains. However, to me, Ronan is far more interesting. Boring. Now, I know that sounds really backwards, really weird, and shut up, Rad. You don't have no idea what you're talking about.
No, not shut up.
not at all.
Explain.
Yeah, please.
Malekith's just light bad, me like dark. Make everything dark. Me win. Where Ronan's
He's a
just
caveman, ladies and gentlemen.
or Ronan. Okay, first off, Ronan looks 10 times cooler than Malekith ever could dream to be, for starters. Second off, the actor sold it. Whereas Malekith just all he has to do is just stand there. You're like, oh, it's you. What do you do? You just turn into Eeyore all of a sudden. Okay, Malekith, whatever you say.
I just dug up a
Ronan is
picture
just-
of him. He looks kind of boring, you're right.
Yeah, Ronan is just way more interesting to me. Yes, they're both flat as a table. Both, since this is America-centric podcast, because no Robbie, they're both as flat as Oklahoma. But Ronan's just more interesting to me.
I would say that part of possibly what makes Malekith even more boring is that his entire race apparently follows the same dynamic that all the Dark Elves want to make all the world Dark Elves, or all the universe Dark Elves. Whereas Ronan, even amongst his own people, is considered an extremist. So
like, he has that. Believe it or not, that's actually in his favor.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Plus when he has the power gem, he looks awesome. But anyways, I know it's very superficial, but still.
There's nothing wrong with being superficial. One of the reasons I love Bats is because he looks so badass. So I'm not going to slam on somebody for being superficial, my friend.
I know one of badass. He looks bat-ass.
Oh God.
I know one of the complaints people have had about, which is a very, speaking of superficial, it's a very superficial and stupid complaint, is that, how come he can just put it in a hammer and use it like that? And if you look at what they've done in the movies with these gems, no one, with the exception of Peter Quill, who was half celestial, has been able to grab a gem like, Thanos too, but Thanos is something we don't even know what he is. Nobody has been able to grab a gem and hold it and use the power. Mm-hmm. And even Thanos has not used the power of a gem when he holds it. He barely holds it between his fingers, then he puts it in the glove. And that seems to be a running theme in the MCU, is these stones are only usable when they are, in something.
Well, I mean, Red Skull held the Tesseract, was teleported instantly.
And that was, keep in mind, a container for the stone.
Very true.
Oh, and the final kicker between Malekith versus Ronan was in a far better movie.
That is true. I will agree with that. Guardians is probably in my top 3 favorite Marvel movies.
I like that movie. It hits on so many nostalgia moments for me because I'm old as fuck. Same with Casual. It hits on that nostalgia moments for us, but at the same time, it's just hilarious and it makes it easy to walk into even if you are younger. They did a good job with that. I know we're hitting on old shit here, but
Guardians is one of those movies that there's 3 tiers that I look at when it comes to the Marvel movies. There's the tier 1, top tier, whatever you want to call it, which is movies that stand alone. Like, you do not have to watch any other movie. You understand what's going on. Things are explained in such a way that, even if it's part of the whole connected universe, it doesn't matter. You don't have to know any of the previous movies. You don't have to watch a movie after it. It's all self-contained. Movies like Guardians of the Galaxy. I would even go so far as to say the first Avengers movie is that, because though they make minor references to things that happened before, nothing that happens in the movie requires you to have knowledge of what happened before.
The prime example in Ultron would be Vision. You watch that one blind, like, who's this guy? Actually, I'm full of crap. Continue.
I was going to say Vision was actually introduced in Ultron, but Infinity War is second tier. Now, what I look at as second tier is movies that they're not as self-contained, but they're still just super fun movies. Civil War is one of those. There's a lot of things that happen in Civil War where if you haven't seen certain other movies, you're going to be a little bit lost. But it's just such a fun movie, and that airport fight scene is so good, who cares?
Now,
then you have
go ahead. I'm sorry.
The bottom tier. The bottom tier are the movies that require knowledge of previous ones. Thor: The Dark World is one of those. Where if you don't understand what happened in the last movie, you're going to be like, wait, what? Who's what? Why?
Now,
I would even put Avengers Age of Ultron in there.
Where would
there's
you-
a lot of stuff.
where would you put Star Wars, the original trilogy? Would that be second tier or third tier then? Because let's face it, if you don't know, if you don't have knowledge of the first two, you're fucked.
Oh, you're talking about like Empire versus
Yep.
Jedi and all of that.
Yep.
I would put the first Star Wars in a top tier because you don't have it's a
absolutely,
fully self-contained movie. I would actually put Empire in a mid tier and Jedi in the bottom tier because Jedi absolutely requires that you at least saw Empire.
Yeah.
But Empire does self-contain itself mostly. It just makes a couple of references that are like, if you didn't fully understand, you know.
And don't they in the opening scroll explain A New Hope, or have I not seen it in that long?
Well, yeah, they do. They explain it just to set where it's at technically, but they also do explain it within the movie too, if I'm not mistaken. Right, Casual?
Yeah, let me put it this way. That opening scroll of text is always forgettable. You read it and you forget it like 5 minutes into the movie because it doesn't matter that much. It's just a neat way it's a completely unique way of setting everything up that people have made fun of ever since they did it because they did it first and now they have to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's super boring. Like, for instance, the opening scroll at the opening of episode 1 is all about the Trade Federation and bureaucracy and, like, who cares?
And basically everything wrong with the prequels.
You know,
Like, I still like lots of moments from the prequels. I love the lightsaber battle at the end. I still like the pod fight.
right, dude, the pod racing was so cool.
Racing. I
Disney,
don't like.
make another pod racing game. Get on it. Free money.
I do not like Jake Lloyd's acting in any of it.
Who's
He's
that?
terrible. Young Anakin.
Oh, okay, thank you.
He's the kid.
Okay.
But despite him, there are great moments in that movie. I will tell you, one of the things I like in movies are the little moments. Especially when it's a lore thing that most people probably wouldn't catch. For example, in Civil War, when Spider-Man grabs Winter Soldier's cybernetic arm, and he does so with no effort at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just says in the moment, fanboys out, "Oh, you have a cybernetic arm? That's so cool." That's one of those little moments for me as a fan of the comic because it shows how strong he is.
Yeah.
And everybody talks about his spider sense and everybody talks about his agility, but it's his strength that kind of goes unnoticed most of the time. Another good example of that is in the first, or in episode 1, there's a moment after they break out of the gas or whatever, and the droid spider things are blasting them,
Mm-hmm.
where they run away because they know that they are basically at a standstill with these things. When they run away, they don't run away at a normal speed. They are like twice the speed of a human,
Mm-hmm.
because they're using their Jedi powers. There's a moment like that in Infinity War where everybody's rushing during the big battle in Wakanda. Everybody's rushing towards, in the classic run towards the enemy scene.
Mm-hmm.
And Black Panther and Captain America outpace them all and end up at the front like 30
Really
leagues
fast.
ahead of everyone else. And it's one of those moments where it's like, oh, right, they're both really fast.
I remember seeing that
Yeah.
kid's kind of giggling like, ooh, they fast.
Yeah. Remember in Captain America 1, he ran down a taxi.
Oh, yeah.
Going flat
Yeah.
out.
It's those little moments that really make me smile in these kinds of movies, because it shows that somebody had the attention of detail to remember these silly little lore things and put them in for those of us that are fans of all this stuff. Whatever it is.
All I'm saying is, have you ever been late to fucking work and need to catch a taxi? You will catch up to that fucking taxi, man. That's all I'm saying. Slow down, you bastard!
Done that with a bus.
So to put a neat little bow on this, can we change our opinions on something? To all the listeners out there, we need to get something trending on Twitter. Hashtag Winter Soldier Stacy.
Oh, God.
I have no
interest in the Boy Scout.
Stacy, you had no interest in Superman.
There you go. I will agree with that 100%. That your opinion on Superman was absolutely valid, but it did change when you saw Man of Steel. I can't guarantee it, but I would guess that your opinion might change at least a little bit if you saw Winter Soldier, because it's kind of the same dynamic. It's let me put it another way. Most people did not like the first Captain America movie. Like, a lot of people put that in lower tier movies. I disagree. I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it for different reasons than most people. 90%, that's a made up number, a very large majority of people that did not like the first Captain America, they love Winter Soldier. And they all say this, mostly they say, I wish that the first Captain America had been more like Winter Soldier.
Maybe I'm just a terrible person. I have a hard time giving a movie a second chance to go to the second one if the first one was so bad I disliked it so much. You know what I mean?
Well, you could still watch it, be like, I still hate Captain America, but that was a pretty okay movie. I mean,
but I could be spending that time so much better pulling the PUD, for instance, and that's a great waste of time. At least I enjoy it.
Captain America 2 doesn't necessarily require Captain America 1.
It doesn't require Captain America 1 at all, really. Captain America 1 was a setup for the Avengers.
Okay.
It was just to introduce Captain America. Captain America 2 is a spy thriller with a dude that is a superhuman. And it's not just Captain America. It's Captain America, it's Black Widow. They introduced the Falcon in that one, and it's like, I don't really know how to equate it, but it's like a 70s spy action thriller. And one of the things I just thought about this, it doesn't have a love interest story.
No,
it doesn't.
That might be halfway.
It's all about just the story that's going on. There is no love interest story because there just isn't.
And it's not comic book Captain America, as far as I know. It's okay. It's not the classic, everybody's classic idea of Captain America in the comics. Oh, the Boy Scout, aka Stacy's opinion of him.
Hi, I'm Captain America, and I'm here to talk to you about disappointment.
Okay. If you see 1 hour of the movie and you don't like it, you can say so on the podcast, and I will apologize to you live on the podcast.
I don't want an apology, Jesus. I mean, me and Hutch are going to be... He's coming over tomorrow. In case anybody doesn't know, Hutch is my cousin. Basically brother. We grew up together. He's closer to me than my own sibling is, kind of thing.
He's a brother from another mother.
Exactly.
It should be noted, we are not trying to change your opinion on Captain America. We're just similar to when we finally got you to watch John Wick, which took like 6 months.
Yeah, I know.
You did. We were just trying to show you that there are some movies that are better than you think they are.
I guess
and
I was
the elevator fight scene alone is just awesome.
Is worth the price of admission.
For John Wick, you mean?
No.
Oh, I thought I was supposed to say I don't remember
there's
that.
an elevator fight in Captain America Winter
Oh,
Soldier.
okay. I was supposed to say I don't remember that, man. Here's the problem:
about Hutch.
is he's coming over for the next 3 days straight. I'm making big ass meals the next 3 days straight, and he's gonna watch on Boy Scout. Soups with me, Man of Steel. He's gonna watch Batman vs Superman, and he's finally gonna watch Justice League with me. And I've been telling him about how amazing Justice League is compared to Batman vs Superman, which was still good. It just they did it a little too cramped, in my opinion.
Okay. If he agrees that those movies are good, then you should both say, "Hey, let's watch Winter Soldier." Has he seen Winter Soldier?
I don't think he gave too much of a shit about the Marvel universe.
Okay, because if he liked John Wick, in fact, I would go so far as to say that Winter Soldier is as close to John Wick in the MCU as you're going to get.
Wait, they just cut out all the storyline and it's just nonstop fighting?
It's not non-stop, but technically neither was John Wick. I mean, there were moments where they paused and they had story.
I suppose it was a little bit.
It has similar types of action scenes in it.
I think you, as a person who enjoys the action moments, would really enjoy it. But that's all I'm going to say because
all right.
I'm not the one trying to convince you. This is Rad's thing.
Now you have to convince the lady to let me buy it. You realize this, right?
I'm not letting you borrow it.
Well, you want it?
Winter Soldier, yeah.
Oh, fuck me. Okay, well, in that case, let's make it way easier.
Don't fully quote me. I believe we
no
own
excuses
it.
now.
God damn it. Ryan, you're buying the food.
Ryan, the MVP.
No, I'm not saying suck the dick. I said buy the food. There's a difference.
I was at Domino's.
Now, it should be noted that when we convinced Stacy to finally watch John Wick, it still took him like 3 months to actually watch it.
No,
so we're not gonna
shush.
say
Hey, I'm
that
coming
it'll
back here Sunday. I'll have the movie in hand.
Fuck!
So we'll hear about it in 2 weeks.
Ryan, you son
This
of
is
a
when I
bitch.
get the text. Oh, Ryan, I'm feeling sick. Can't do the podcast. Can't come over. That's right. I'll go to Menards, pick up a hazmat suit. I'll bring the movie anyways.
He comes over with 3 cans of Lysol spraying all over him as he walks in the door. Hazmat suit.
So since we're still on the thing about opinions, what are your all-time favorite video games? Well, actually, they don't have to be video games. And remember, which ones can you just come back to over and over again and still enjoy it every time?
Final Fantasy VII. Earthbound. Oh, shit. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy if we go to books. Movies, I would say Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Hedwig and the Angry Inch. God. And that's a whole Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the whole series, not just the first one.
That's a long book
Oh,
series.
it's so good, though. Oh. Oh, God, what else can I list?
While you're thinking about
Primal.
that, how
Far
about
Cry
I
Primal.
just...
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Stacy's Caveman Simulator.
Yeah.
For me, honestly, Ender's Game, the book. The movie is pretty damn good, too, in my opinion.
I've never
Super
heard
Mario
of it.
RPG for video
Oh,
games.
yep, that is a great game that you can always come back to. You're absolutely right.
And honestly, for you, Stacey, I'm surprised you didn't say Minecraft. I'm actually glad you didn't.
Honestly, I come and go from that game. Like, I played a lot on stream. If anybody's brand new to the show here, I'm a streamer. I stream 7 days a week. 6 days a week, excuse me.
Twitch.tv/Stacy Kruger.
Yeah, baby. If you want to be a support of this podcast, you can subscribe to me and become a Tier 2 subscriber.
Tier
You can
2 sub.
And you can listen to it live as we record it and also submit articles. Moving back. It's a great game, but I can leave it or take it. I don't know why. It's weird.
The reason why I'm glad you didn't say Minecraft is I was going to argue that Minecraft itself, because you played modded Minecraft, doesn't count. Because modded Minecraft, it's literally a completely different game every time.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong at all.
Especially
each pack,
depending on the mods that you use.
Absolutely.
Each there are different categories of mod packs that you play that, it's Minecraft in that it looks like it and it has the gameplay.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as this other pack over here.
Kind sir, I would not argue that. I don't know, man.
So
Minecraft is definitely one
And
of
then-
those games you can leave or take. You can walk away from forever, come back, and you're like, oh, this is fun again. And then after a little while, I'm like, I'm gone for a while, you know?
and we already did kind of touch on, if you want to extend this to movies, Starship Troopers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I always watch that when it's on TV because it's just so entertaining, even though it's a pile of crap.
Predator.
Oh,
For me,
Predator
I
2,
I
though.
can watch Predator.
Predator's good.
I can watch Die Hard. I can watch the first Lethal Weapon, and every time I've got a smile on my face.
See, Lethal Weapon was one of those ones I was always like, meh, to it. But I will say Die Hards, the first Die Hard for sure. Predator 1 and 2, knockouts. I personally think Predator 2 was far superior. Far, far superior.
If I may throw my hat into this thing, Conan the Barbarian, the original, not the
Honestly,
Yeah. The
I-
first Conan, yeah.
I can't remember the last time I watched that movie. I can't even think of the first time I did. Back when I was a kid, I know, but
The first Conan was far more Conan. The second was Dungeons and Dragons starring Conan and his merry band.
honestly, I didn't
it
know
was-
there was a second one until just now. I'm not even gonna lie.
I only
It
know
was
the
Conan the
fine.
Destroyer.
That's so
Yeah, there were supposed to be 3, but the second one did not get very good reception, and so they just canned it.
Oh, okay.
But it was supposed to be Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, and Conan the Conqueror. They later changed Conan the Conqueror many, many years later to Kull the Conqueror, starring Kevin Sorbo. It was not well received either, and talk of reboot. They then rebooted Conan. I can't remember who was in the reboot of Conan. It was kind of a nobody, I think.
Now, when it comes to that name, it's a very potato name. Some people say Conan, some say Conan. How the fuck did we come to the point where we have two different names for this guy?
Because they actually say it different even in the movie.
Are you serious? I didn't ever notice that.
Yeah.
They never say it the same in every scene. It's always Conan, Conan.
Some people call him Conan. I think he refers to himself as Conan, but some people also refer to him as Conan. It's however you want to.
I'm
So,
surprised
Ryan.
you, Casual. Sorry, give me 2 seconds, Ryan. I'm Rad. I'm surprised you, Casual, the man who we had like a huge debate on air about English language and just how you pronounce things, did not jump on top of that.
Well,
one.
so there's proper names, okay? I would say that based on the fact that I think Conan himself says Conan at some point. I could be wrong, though. He might not actually say his name, but I'm pretty sure he says his name and it's Conan. That it should be Conan. But we did have this topic, this discussion, and sometimes when it comes to a narrative, people just constantly mispronounce people's
True.
names no matter what. Like, for instance, in Far Cry 4, the main character is Ajay, but he himself calls himself something else. It's
AJ or Ajay.
yeah, AJ. He calls himself AJ, but because his name comes from a region where it probably would be pronounced Ajay, everybody else pronounces it Ajay, and it's one of those things where, you know, it does kind of become tomato.
Okay. Rad,
So,
I apologize for cutting you off, buddy. Go ahead.
That's fine. So, Ryan, what else was on your something you can go back to again and again and enjoy it list?
Stacy, and probably you guys won't like this, but BioShock Infinite. I love that one.
1 and 2 are so superior in so many
you've said
ways.
multiple times, yeah.
But Infinite is good. I've never said it. Here's the thing: the battle systems were fun to me, but the biggest problem I had, it was too cheery, too chipper. It wasn't confined enough. It didn't build the tension.
Well, it was. I would argue that it wasn't exactly cheery. cheery, but it was definitely bright. And the like none of the BioShock, I would argue none of the BioShock games are cheery.
Well, what I mean was bright.
Yeah, Infinite was definitely a brighter, and each of the games, like, for me, the first BioShock was amazing because it did the horror shooter right. Like, it got the tone and the feel of the horror right, and it got all the shooting that you wanted, whereas the second game kind of leaned more towards the shooter side, and I didn't like that as much. And then the third game was 100% shooter. Now,
yeah, I'll agree with you 100%.
I would argue, though, that none of them are bad, because they all do what they were intending to do right.
The only reason I lean towards Infinite, I'm sorry, being quote-unquote bad is because the narrative, the story, where BioShock 1 and 2 had these deep, deep stories that made you stop and think, where number 3 is just racism, bad, which is, well, no shit. But that's all it really was, and it never really got further than that, in my opinion. It never really grabbed me any further, and it kind of was sad.
I would also argue that the end of BioShock 1 was a huge disappointment.
Really?
Because I agree that the game had all of these deep, theoretically philosophical things that it was going for, you know, and then the end was just a fight against a big gold guy that had all the powers. And it was like to me, it lost the first BioShock lost its tone after you got past the mall. I don't remember what the area was called. Basically, it was the area where it was the last. First of all, it was the last real decision-making thing you could do in the game, because you could either choose to kill the guy that had been sending you around to do all this stuff for him, or you could just let him live. Mm-hmm. And if you let him live, you got like a code for a thing, and you got like whatever, and then I think you fought him later.
Nope, you could just let him live, period.
Okay. But that was it. After that moment, none of the other areas were as atmospheric. None of the other areas were as well done. The story started to kind of lose my interest, because now it was just about like, oh, yeah, by the way, all those little girls that you've potentially been killing, you probably should have been saving them. Oh, well, thanks. And if you have been saving them, oh, thanks for saving them. Like, it started to lose its interest, and by the time you finally got to I will say that the hospital place or whatever, the last stage, was somewhat really well done atmospherically, but the final fight against the bad guy, like, I was expecting more of, I don't know, something more choice-oriented, but it was literally just a fight against a classic endgame boss.
So
Big
maybe
gold guy, super strong, has all the powers, now you have to fight him.
Joker syndrome, like in Arkham Asylum?
Yeah. I would say that was similarly disappointing to me. Like, it was like, oh, so instead of, like, fighting my demons, now I'm just fighting a big Joker.
You know, I'm looking for reasons to disagree with you here, man. I'm trying to find ways to disagree with you, and I can't, and it's pissing me off.
But, that being said, I can still go back and enjoy BioShock.
Yeah.
You know. It's not on my top list, though. For me, Super Mario World always ends up on the top. I love that game. I don't know what it is about it. It just, I would say that it's nostalgia, but at the same time, there's lots of things that I have nostalgia for that when I go back to them, I go, ooh. Like, for instance, I used to have nostalgia for the old Transformers TV show, you know, the original animated one. I went back and watched a few episodes, and I stopped immediately and said, how did I like this? But Super Mario World, love that.
I just forgot an obvious one for Stacy. Batman, the animated series.
Oh, God, yes. It's never lost its glamour, ever. Like, I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. I look at the animation style and go, dated. But it's never lost its appeal where I couldn't just sit down and watch it over and over and over again. Same with the Arkham Asylum series, the Arkham series. God damn it, Stacey,
Not
speak
counting
correctly.
Origins.
Origins had its own glamour. It's just it missed it. It missed what was wonderful mainly because of the bugs. The bugs destroyed the game.
To be fair, Origins was done by a different company. So.
Yeah. Arkham Knight was the worst of the whole series, in my opinion. Absolutely worst, mainly because what they did with forcing so much Batmobile down your throat. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so bad, in my opinion.
See, I haven't played Arkham Knight yet. I
thought you did. Okay.
I wanted, I really enjoyed Arkham City. I think that was the best one because of the ones I played. Because so it wasn't all of Gotham. It was just a small portion of Gotham, which made sense with the story. Mm-hmm. It just, everything made sense from the perspective of Batman. And of course, following the Arkham Asylum, the way that Arkham Asylum made you feel like you were Batman, it did that too, but then it gave you a bigger place to explore. Mm-hmm. And it was just enough where I was like, yeah, this all makes sense. Whereas I don't know how much of Gotham you get to explore in Arkham City or Arkham Knight.
A huge chunk.
I would bet it's not enough for me. Like, when you say you get, when a game says, oh, it's all of Gotham, Gotham to me should be just a sprawling miasma of Dark City. Like, it should just be huge and imposing, and it's hard to do that in a video game.
Honestly, I don't know if it's all of Gotham, but I think it's most of Gotham.
I mean, it's those 3, maybe 4 islands. Mm-hmm. Island.
Yeah. I want to say it's most, if not... Oh, son of a bitch, it might be all. It's been forever since I played Night, so I can't remember... Well, at least paid attention to the areas.
I will say there was one thing I didn't like about Arkham City, and that was how many of the bad guys had guns. If only because guns versus Batman are really overpowered. And it's realistic when you think about it, because, guns are powerful. But I wanted to go in and just beat everybody up, and I had to kind of change my tactics for City because there were so many dudes with guns.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to argue that one. That was one of the parts where you're just like, God damn it, I just want to kill everything in sight. Well, kill.
Knock them out.
Yes, exactly.
Break collarbones.
God, you guys make me want to play Arkham Asylum and City again today.
Even though they made a very specific point of having them, make super hard bone-crunching sounds.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, when you finish them off, it's like, yeah... Batman, aren't you supposed to not kill them? Shut up, Robin!
I made the Red Rider come out. Well, I mean, if you look with your bat senses, it says knocked out KO. Come on now. Jeez.
Speaking of which, Detective Mode completely breaks the Arkham series.
It does.
It breaks Asylum, for sure.
It's also kind of a shame that Detective Mode is so often used, because that game is really good looking. Like, all the detail they put into both Asylum and City, I'm assuming they put the same detail into Night and Origins, I don't know, but you spend 90% of your time in detective mode searching for places to grab onto and where the bad guys are, and you end up basically watching the whole game in wireframe.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Go ahead, Stacey.
Go ahead. I can see what you mean. I can. I really enjoyed it. The way you can decide which way, try to figure out how the helicopter crashed into the buildings. Oh no, that was Origins.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but what I'm saying is that for all the work the developers put into making the world and the characters look so good and so atmospheric.
Yeah. Okay.
Spend most of it in wireframe.
Okay, now I know what you're saying. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's something I was actually talking about one day, too. I was sitting there looking at it going, fuck, this is disappointing because this looks so pretty. Why? Why am I doing this? I'm just wandering around staring at shit. But go ahead, Brad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, bud.
Well, there was an interview with the developers of the Arkham franchise. They said that they agree that detective mode in Asylum is like ridiculously OP, overpowered.
Yeah.
And they took pains to tone it down in City, to figure out how can we balance this ability that he has.
Really? I didn't know that.
Because it's literally possible in Asylum to play the entire game in detective mode. You never have to leave it.
Yeah, and I try to force myself out of detective mode when I play the game, but it's just so hard to pull yourself out of it. It really is, because it's just so easy to all right, there we go. We can figure everything out, track everybody down, see where everybody's hiding behind walls and shit,
follow all the tubes and the things that get you access to more stealth. That is, speaking of, one of the best boss fights in the Arkham games is the Mr. Freeze fight in Arkham City.
Oh,
the reason is because you do something, he figures out what you're doing, and you can't do it again, and you have to do something else. It was frustrating as heck, but it was so fun, because by the end, you used all your abilities to take him down.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? That fucking fight killed so many speedruns. That fucking fight. Because you'd think by this point I'd be used to it, but I'd always go, I'm going to try something new. You don't try new shit when you speedrun, all right, folks? I'm just going to let you know right now.
Which is, again, why it's such a great fight, because it just forces you to go in with a plan and hope he doesn't break it.
Yeah. And damn it, is it fun.
One of the coolest things for the Mr. Freeze fight is do a glide kick on him. Batman looks a lot cooler once Mr. Freeze prevents you from gliding.
I'm trying to remember which part that was.
Oh, pretty much what happens, he makes the air cold or something, so you can't glide in it or something.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And
shit.
It has the side effect of basically freezing Batman's cape. It still flows like regular fabric and stuff, but it's got this neat little blue tinge to it. It's got a little bit of ice on it. It looks really cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, you bastards. I'm going to have to play that game now. I'm going to have Clorox come home. She's going to be like, come on, honey, about to go grocery shop. Fuck you! Arkham City, you bitch!
Another game that I can go back to a million times, and I have, used to be the original Resident Evil. Until they remade it for the GameCube, which they re-released on PC as HD or whatever. That Resident Evil was always a great game, but the remake it was always a good game. The remake made it a great game because it fixed all the dialogue baloney. They changed the puzzles to be more interesting, and they added more areas, and it retains for me pretty much the ultimate survival horror atmosphere, because for me when it comes to horror, it's about atmosphere, not gore. And
absolutely,
if I play that game in the dark, I still am looking behind me going, all right,
That's actually what Outlast 1 hit perfect, and that's what made it so good is because they worried about atmosphere. Obviously, they added a shit ton of gore, but it was all about the atmosphere because you saw there was gore, but there was gore there for a reason, not just gore for fucking gore porn. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Saw. It decided to make you go, holy shit, this is terrifying. There's body. All of a sudden, a body fell in front of me. What are they doing to me? What are they going to do to me if they catch me? You can't help but be terrified.
I still have to argue that Saw 1 was not about gore porn, and it was actually a good movie. It's Saw 2, 3, 4, 5, a million that are just violence for violence sake.
You know another game I can always go back to? Fallout New Vegas. Over and over again because I can recreate my own story so many times through, and there's so many different ways you can play through it, just nuances within the game. And to like this day, I still find new shit that I haven't found, and that's amazing because I have thousands of hours into that game.
And speaking of Fallout New Vegas, that's a game that you had a different opinion on for a while.
Exactly. Going back to our original topic. When I first played it, I was like, oh, this is good, but it's just shit compared to 3. And then I grew up. I didn't want a story to tell. I didn't want a game to tell me the story and hold my hand and make me, read their story and just do. Okay, let's go find Daddy now. I wanted a game where I could create my own story. I grew. And that's where New Vegas was perfect because you got to make your own story. And oh, God, is it good. Fuck.
Interestingly, that's where that goes into back to our opinions topic in a way, because I am of a strange opinion when it comes to the Fallout franchise. Now, I personally think that Fallout 3 had the better story overall, but I actually like Fallout 4 better because mechanically speaking, even though I also dislike Fallout 4 the most. Now, you may be going, you can't have both opinions. Well, that's the thing. You can. Mechanically speaking, Fallout 4, outside of what they did with the dialogue options, which they even have, Bethesda even admitted, yeah, we tried something new, it didn't work, we're not going to do it again. So they do learn.
Yeah.
Most of the mechanical aspects of Fallout 4 fixed all of the problems that I had with previous Fallout games, and they just did such a great job with everything. The shooting was so much better. The modification systems were amazing. I enjoyed the settlement building stuff. I'm hoping all of that stuff returns in the second game.
Oh, don't tell me about the settlement garbage coming back.
But the problem with the game, and the parts I dislike about it, are the world is too small, and from a story perspective, it's the worst. It is absolutely 100% the worst story they have created. Even the side quests are not nearly as interesting as previous games, though the side quests are more interesting as usual than the main story.
Yeah, as goes with any Bethesda game, really, personally.
Yeah, generally, that is true. So, for me, it's one of those cases where I love it, but I also kind of hate it.
See, I completely 1,000,000% agree with you on fixing mechanics. Oh, God. I remember playing the game going, fuck, these mechanics are awesome for 4, but then playing it for more than an hour and going, what was my point? What was I supposed to do again? Oh, yeah, find my kid.
And, yeah, that's the problem with Fallout 4, is if you're just playing it for the world and the mechanics, it can be really fun. But once you start to realize how small the world is, and once you start to play it for long enough and you're like, oh, right, this is why I stopped playing it. Damn it.
To me, the number one complaint I had was that the world looked too pretty. This is post-apocalyptic. This is after the bombs dropped, not even, a mile away from the... mile and a half away from the fallout shelter you went down into. The vault itself. And then look at the buildings. They look like they've been realistically... They look fucked, but not that fucked.
Yeah, that's an artistic decision, because let's be realistic. If a bomb actually dropped on a city the city would be literally wiped out. It's an atomic bomb.
That's exactly. I was expecting Hiroshima or Nagasaki look.
But that's a choice that they made ever since the very first game.
Yeah.
Like before they went 3D. If you do it that way, then there's nothing of interest to go into the city for. Whereas if you do it the way they did it, and it should be noted, they actually do, in the background information, explain why the cities survived as much as they do. Essentially, and you can see this in some of the buildings, they up-armored the cities. Like they started putting pieces of, in preparation for the potential of nuclear holocaust, they started putting armor that could resist and all that. It's BS.
Yeah.
But at least it's a pseudo explanation for how these things could survive as much as they did and give us places to explore.
Okay, I'll give you that, but it just felt so wrong. 'Cause I remember walking through going, this feels like Detroit. This doesn't feel like post-apocalyptic. You know what I mean?
Well, it was Boston.
No, I meant modern day Detroit. You smart ass. But it didn't feel that fucked. I don't know. That was one of my biggest complaints was because the settlement building, which yes, I would love it if it was completely optional, but they try to make you do it in a certain quest. And I was like, and I'm done. That almost made me quit the game because I
totally agree with that. Making it, it's like in some of those open world games. Like there's one of the Assassin's Creed games where they have this whole mini game that they built into it, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I have no interest in that mini game. Unfortunately, they force you to play it so that you can get used to it as part of the main mission, the main story. And it's like, please, can I just get past this so that we can move on with our lives and I will never play this again? Which I never played it again. And it kind of annoyed me that they forced me to play it in the first,
Yeah. Careful, man. You're going to start selling me whining about games. No, I completely agree. I don't know. There was mini games within Fallout though that were tolerable for Fallout 3, which was the Far Harbor one where you had to go through the brain. No, that was regular. I'm sorry. That was the first one. We had to go through the dude's brain after you killed him, and it was cool, but at the same time, it just felt, It felt forced instead of going, wow, can you imagine how cool this would be? You could go through someone's brain. Instead, you're going, okay, are we going to use this at all in the rest of the game? No. So what was the point?
I'm still mildly hopeful that the next Elder Scrolls is more than just one region of the stupid map, because that's, to me, that's getting boring. I want a bigger world to explore.
Well, I thought Skyrim was mediocrely big,
Skyrim was fine when Skyrim came out. But since Skyrim, we have gotten things like Far Cry 4 and Far Cry 5. We have gotten things like The Witcher 3. We have gotten things like Ghost Recon Wildlands. Worlds can be bigger and have interest in them. The idea that the world has to be small so that there's interest is a broken concept by people that are too lazy to put things of interest in a larger world. And I think if Bethesda does another world that is the size of Skyrim, I don't know if I'll play it, because I got bored of Fallout 4 so quickly because it was so small.
I completely understand. I do. I do want to move on real quick, though, Casual, because I know we're kind of getting a little long in the tooth here on the podcast. There's one topic I did want to talk about. DC has finally named what their streaming service is going to be. It's going to be the DC Universe. Now, yes, ha ha ha, Marvel Universe, DC Universe, we see what you did there, DC. But do you think DC's gonna pull it off as well as Marvel did because they have Disney in their back, or do you think they're gonna go, well, you should have stayed with Netflix or some service that already is cemented, should I say?
That's the thing. DC is connected to Warner Brothers, so it makes me wonder why they're trying to do a DC Universe streaming service when they could have done a Warner Brothers streaming service that would also have DC in it.
That does kind of surprise me, honestly.
Like
I would counter with, what does Warner Brothers have that you can quickly name offhand?
Harry Potter.
Oh, is that
The
them?
Matrix.
I thought that was somebody else.
I can't name anything right away after that. But
yeah, but Harry Potter is really their only current franchise.
Well, I mean, the whole
that I can think
DC
of.
universe.
The Matrix is coming back.
Wait, what?
They're doing a reboot. Or
I forgot we talked about that. Yeah,
it's like a sequel or something. But that's my point. Is they do have more stuff. The fact that they haven't done anything except for DC and Harry Potter movies currently is just because they're boring and they don't want to do anything else because it makes them money. I would say that, like, there's a reason that the Disney streaming service is going to be the Disney streaming service and not the Marvel streaming service. DC does have a lot of TV shows currently on. They've got like 6 on the CW alone or something like that. They've got a couple others on some other things, like I think Gotham is still running on one of them, and they just started up Krypton, or are going to be starting it up soon. No, they definitely started it. And that's, and they have their animation.
Mm-hmm.
So from that perspective, they're doing fine. Their movies are not doing fine. They're making money, but they're not making the money they should. Because they're not... They're trying too hard to do what Marvel did, rather than doing their own thing. Or
I
maybe
won't disagree with that.
Or maybe it's more that they're trying too hard to do what Marvel did faster than Marvel did it. And because of that, they are like they just didn't take the time. Marvel took the time. And I think if DC had taken the time, the only thing people would have been able to say about their movies would have been, oh, they're doing the exact same thing Marvel did.
So,
But they also would have been saying, but these movies are really great, instead of being super divisive movies like they have been. Or just piles of crap like Suicide Squad.
I'm sorry, I got a little sick there thinking of that movie again. I need to stop making that joke. I made that joke every time somebody mentions that fucking movie. I really need to stop making that joke one of these years.
Suicide Squad.
I'm sorry.
Sudoku Platoon? Because, they commit Sudoku.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've hit the wall. All right. Woo! God.
This is Katana. I wouldn't get on her bad
dad
side.
Joke. Internet meme plus dad joke equals win.
Ow! God damn
But
it.
yeah, I wonder what they're going to have in a DC streaming service. Like, are they going to do even more TV shows? Because they've got like a dozen.
I just
from what I know, it's going to be, they have don't forget all the Cartoon Network stuff, like Young Justice. The original Teen Titans will probably be on there.
And that would make all the fanboys very, very happy. So
okay, but let's stop and think about this though. You have the Disney streaming service that's eventually going to be named and released sometime in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And with that comes all those things that we've already talked about multiple times that we are interested in seeing again, amongst new stuff, like a new live-action Star Wars, some new Marvel show live-action is going to be on there, plus DuckTales, Gummy Bears, old Kurt Russell, live-action Disney movies from the 70s,
Short Circuit.
Oh,
there
God.
is so much content that is old and new that people are excited to see because Disney nostalgia and because Marvel Universe and Star Wars are gigantic. What are people excited to see from the DC Universe other than Batman the Animated Series?
Justice League.
Yep, Justice League.
I'm talking about the TV show. Not
Oh, which one?
movie maybe, but both Justice
Okay.
League and Justice League Unlimited.
Okay. I think it was Unlimited was the more of the quote unquote edgier one that I actually got into.
Unlimited is one with like Hot Girl, like all the heroes in it.
Oh, okay. I believe that was the one. I honestly, it's been so fucking long since I watched him. I can't remember which one it was I liked.
Well, honestly, that's the only reason I would ever consider subscribing to that DC service is for those old cartoon shows that honestly I missed out on Justice League Unlimited. I completely
But that's like a couple shows versus Disney, which is like a couple dozen shows that people are like, oh yeah, I would totally get this just for these 5 shows of my past and a couple new shows that I'm interested in. I don't know. I don't think DC has enough interest to do their own thing all on their own. Like, I would not pay $5 a month for a DC streaming service.
That's why I said consider it. There's still not enough for me to actually do it, but that one would be like, maybe.
Now, here's the real question. Go ahead, Brad. I'm sorry. Buddy.
Still no.
What if they call it DC Universe, but for some reason they also wrap in a whole bunch of other properties from Warner Brothers and throw it there? They're just using DC as the name grab, like the big name company.
Let's not forget, DC also owns Watchmen now.
Oh, there's another one you could throw
Well,
up there.
DC always owned Watchmen, and by the way, they are doing I don't know if it's a series about Watchmen or if it's introducing Dr. Manhattan into a series, but the Watchmen are no longer a one-off side story. They are now officially a part of the normal DC universe, which is,
Really?
just a
like
money.
Batman, Superman, all of them. They're officially part of it now.
I can't say I'm upset about this.
I mean, the rest of the Watchmen are just more Batman-like punchers. But
True.
Dr. Manhattan is, he's theoretically more powerful than Superman. What do you do
he
with
is.
a character like that?
Well, he's God. Plain and simple. He's just God.
Again, what do you why do you even... They already have problems with writing Superman. Why would you introduce a character that is beyond Superman powerful? What are you going to do with him?
Dr. Manhattan is not going to show up very often. He's probably going to rarely show up.
Okay, then what do you do with the rest of them? Because we already have a Batman. Why do we need any of the rest of them when we've already got Batman, Green Arrow, Dark... what's Robin's name? Nightwing, Batwoman... you're just introducing even more Batman characters and a god.
It's a chance for them to explore the Watchmen characters, make them unique, because as you say, Rorschach is basically Batman, just slightly more paranoid.
Actually, I would equate Rorschach to a crazier Punisher. He's the only one that I'd actually be interested in seeing more of. But again, why is he there? Like, the whole thing it's obviously a marketing ploy. And, they've done that many times before on all sides of the fence. For example, the most recent one that I can think of is bringing back the Fantastic Four to the comics, which is extremely telling of what might happen in the movies.
Please, let's not talk about them.
but either way, somebody, I was watching one of the shows I watch, and somebody had a great idea. They should set the Fantastic Four in the 60s. Now,
Really?
You may say, why is that a great idea? Because that's where they're from. They were created in the 60s. So they could do like a period piece of the Fantastic Four. It could either be standalone or it could somehow connect to the MCU in the future. But they set it in the 60s. Like, give them that whole groovy vibe. I may be mixing the 70s and the 60s with groovy. I don't know.
Okay, if they do have Fantastic Four, they have to reference the Cuban Missile Crisis and the mutant problem. Well, okay, they don't have to reference it. It's just be a nice little callback to X-Men First Class.
It depends on what they're going to do with the mutants and how they're going to... Like, I'm almost positive that they're going to do that, like, in the future, but I don't know. We'll see. The Fox deal still isn't, they haven't even... They haven't gone through the government yet. But eventually, Disney will get all the stones, and the Disney Film Studio Gauntlet will be complete.
Jesus. Oh, the Gauntlet. All right, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We have been the Odd Pod. Who the hell are you crazy boys?
I just realized this isn't my house. Where am I? I'm Ryan.
Oh, God. Why am I naked?
I'm Red, trending on Twitter, Winter Soldier Stacy.
Rad Hazard, no longer the quiet one. I'm casually challenged.
So is that all we have to do is just get rid of the British guy and you talk more, Red?
No, I was actually referencing that Ryan's the quiet one now.
Oh, yeah. Talk, you son of... I'm going to bring over a taser. Next time he stops talking, just...
Soon I'll just become immune and just...
All of a sudden you hear groans of, moans of pleasure from him and be like, oh, God, take the taser away. Ooh. Oh, yeah, nunny.
And then this podcast goes X-rated.
Thank each and every one of you so much for tuning in. Remember, if you'd like to support the podcast financially, you could do so by going to twitch.tv/Stacy Kruger. Subscribe to me on Twitch as a Tier 2 sub. There, you can become, obviously a Tier 2 sub. Tier 2 sub to my stream. Also, therefore, supporting this podcast because that goes directly to the stream. To this podcast to help us keep us afloat financially so we can continue bringing guys podcasts, such as paying a subscription to our podcasting site. Also, you can listen to us record it live, such as TWP156 does, which is listening to us live right now. Also, you can submit stories. Thank each and every one of you guys so much for being here. We love you all so friggin' much. We'll catch you next time.